everybody, Keith Hilson at the Trombone Shop at Schmidt Music. I was going through and looking through all of the instrument review videos I've done over the past year plus and realized I had left a couple of the really popular Bach 42 variations out of the mix here. So today I'm going to feature one of the most popular Bach Strads on the market, the Bach 42A with the Hagmann valve here. So I'm going to be taking a play on this. Afterwards, I'm going to talk about specs, talk about the experience with it, so make sure you stick around with that. This is going to be the yellow bell version, and I'm going to be playing all of this on a Bach 5G. One of the items we keep talking about in the trombone world, especially large bore tenors, bass trombones, are the role of the valve. How much the design of the valve can affect the overall playing of the instrument, the sound quality, the timbre, the responsiveness, the control. Nowhere else is this more apparent than in the different Bach Stradivarius configurations here. So, of course, we have the standard Bach 42 with their standard rotor, the basic design that they've been using forever. But of course, they've rolled a whole bunch of different valves into it. They have the infinity valve, the AF valve. Of course, before that, they had the axial flow valve, they had the K valve, now they've got the Meinl-Schmidt open flow valve, and they've got the Hagmann valve. And so it's so interesting going one to the next and how much of a difference the valve makes on these instruments. I think a lot of people tell you of all the different Bach configurations out there, especially as a quote-unquote stock horn, the Hagmann valve is probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular. And for me, it's really easy to see why. I personally love the Hagmann valve. I think it is one of the best designed valves on the market. First off, mechanically, yes, it's fine. With that, so if you've never got a chance to look inside the Hagmann valve, it's a cage basically. It's a round piece of brass stock inside there, but then it has copper tubing soldered inside. And so that creates a very different response experience than, for example, a standard rotor where you have a solid piece of brass that has ports bored through it. And this particular configuration that Hagmann came back up with all those years ago seems to be so well balanced, and I think it fits this horn so well. So besides the Hagmann, this is a standard 42. It's a 8.5-inch yellow brass bell, standard 547 hand slide, yellow brass outer tubes. It's a 42. The only difference is the Hagmann valve, and for me, it makes a huge difference in how it plays. I find the Hagmann valve to be exceptionally stable. The response seems to be exactly where I want to be. It's not too quick, it's not too slow. It seems to me it has that really great weight. I think a great classical sound has a little bit of a emphasis behind it. I don't want to say a hesitation, because that's not true, but there is always mass behind the sound, and I think this Hagmann does that so well. I think is exceptionally even playing between the open side and the F side. You really don't feel much of a difference. The transition between those two is very, very smooth and clean as well. You don't feel a push, a click, anything like that. It's very effortless moving between them. And I just love what it does to the sound. For me, I mean, you have the standard kind of 42 sound, a lot of core with kind of that halo, that resonance around here. What I think the Hagmann does is it gives you a little bit more broadness. I think it gives you a slightly, I wouldn't even say softer core. I think it gives you a little bit warmer core that spreads outwards a little bit. And I think it takes the outside of the sound and it rounds it off just a little bit. But again, not in a bad way, just giving the whole body a little bit more presence while still maintaining a lot of the projection. I really like it. Again, I think it's a valve that is really even playing between, for example, solo literature and orchestral literature. I chose the Saratsky in part because there are some areas where you can really lean into it a little bit, and when you start pushing the dynamic, boy, it just goes with you. It doesn't back up on you at all. It doesn't all of a sudden start getting compact and bright. It remains, really focused, but at the same time, it's still nimble. I feel like it's fairly easy to move between the different partials. Now, it doesn't have quite the same likeness as you might get out of other configurations. So there's certain times, especially in some of those articulate areas where would I like it to dance a little bit more? Maybe, but in comparison, do I like, again, the presence of the sound and the stability of the response? Just every note I go to play is where I expect it to be. Especially, I haven't played this one a little bit. It took me a few minutes to kind of remember, oh yeah, this is how it plays. But once I figure that out, everything is exactly where I want it to be. As soon as I play the note, it is locked in place. It's not moving around at all. So, it's like I said, in my opinion, it is the really, I think the overall best configuration of Bach 42 on the market. All of them are great for different reasons. I think this one has just a ton of versatility to it. And frankly, I think it's one of the best large bore tenors on the market, especially for a stock horn. I mean, custom horns aside there, but just going out and buying one, I've always been super happy with the 42A with the Hagmann. I think it's a really, really safe bet. So I hope you enjoyed this review here. As always, if you have any thoughts about the 42A, if you have played on it, you have some experience with it, or if you have questions, leave those below in the comments. If you like the video, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, think about subscribing to our channel, and you can always check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So thanks for watching, everybody.